The Arab Spring in Libya was due to an ongoing conflict between the Libyan people and Gaddafi's oppressive government. Libya's citizens were being controlled by Gaddafi's government, and they struggled to gain democracy during the Arab Spring.
Libya is an African country that borders Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Niger, Sudan, and Tunisia.
It has a population of 6.55 million people and now runs under a transitional government because of the Arab Spring.
This became a need for the Arab Spring when Gaddafi took power and began to change the ways of the Libyan government.
Gaddafi was a politician born in 1942 who first showed interest in Arab nationalist politics while at school in Saba. He then joined the army in 1960 and continued to support nationalism for the Arab people.
In 1969, Gaddafi led a coup that helped take over King Idris of Libya and allowed Gaddafi to rise to power when he was 27. Gaddafi shared his view on politics with the Libyan people and began to change the ways of government through the Jamahira system.
Gaddafi was a violent dictator who wasn't afraid to assassinate groups of people to get what he wanted. This was first shown when Gaddafi's government went to Chad and committed atrocities to emphasize their power and look intimidating. Gaddafi's men then continued to attack other countries.
In 1984, Gaddafi's men fired at rebel Libyan forces in London in an attempt to continue to take over Libya and its government. Gaddafi also assassinated a British woman in the middle of the streets, motivating the U.S. to break free from connections with Libya and begin to oppose their rule. In 1986, Gaddafi responded to the U.S. break from connections by organizing a terrorist bombing on the U.S. This motivated the U.S. to attack back at Benghazi and Tripoli, killing 101 people, including Gaddafi's daughter, and destroying Gaddafi's house.
Gaddafi continued to maintain power in Libya and assassinated 1,200 people in the Abu Salim jail in Tripoli. He also killed hundreds of people at a soccer game when he was booed by the crowd.
In 1988, Gaddafi issued the Lockerbie bombing, where he bombed an airliner over a Scottish town.
In 2002, Abdelbasset Ali Mohammed al-Megrahi was found guilty of the Lockerbie bombing and was testified with a life sentence in jail.
In 2011 particularly, many people began to rise up against Gaddafi's rule. In March of 2011, the UN set a no-fly zone over Libya to help protect its citizens. In August of 2011, rebels invaded Tripoli and sent Gaddafi into hiding.
Gaddafi hid from the rebels in Sirte, Libya, but was found. On October 20th of 2011, Muammar Gaddafi was shot in front of a wild mob in a shootout crossfire between Gaddafi's people and the Libyan rebels. The National Transitional Council took over the government, and elections were scheduled to be held in 8 months.
Today, Libya is run as a democracy and has been affected significantly by the Arab Spring.
Libya is run by a transitional government that has an executive and legislative branch. Within the executive branch, there is a prime minister, a cabinet, and elections. Today, the prime minister is named Ali Zaydan, who has been minister since October 14th of 2012. In the legislative branch, there is a national congress with 200 seats.
Libya has also sent diplomats to the U.S., such as Ambassador Ali Suleiman Ajali, and maintains significant relationships with the U.S. today.
We predict that in the future, Libya will continue to face minor disruptions within their government. We believe that the National Transitional Government will remain in control, but may have to face difficulties and aftermaths from Gaddafi's rule.
Almost certainly still people who remain loyal to the Gaddafi and government, and they may struggle against these groups.
However, because the National Transitional Government took over and has not experienced difficulties so far, we assume that the government will not be faced with anything shocking or unusual.
Several years from now, Libya will most likely be thriving and continuing to grow within their transitional government, and will most likely face only minor disruptions from few remaining Gaddafi supporters.